Shalom. All praises go to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem and the rock with us double honors unto the elder apostles at great millstone for the teachings of the scriptures among other things. Shalom to the sincere argument across the world. Now, this is a picture of what I just got online. This is a picture of what it would look like if you use myheritagedna.com or something like that, you know, with the tree. This is what a picture would look like if you would test your DNA according to these Edomites, right? But this is a lie. This is garbage, and this is not to be used. It's a lie. It's just false, right? Now you have the Latinos taking tests and stuff like that, and they're you know, are people taking tests and stuff like that. By the way, I got that picture that you just saw from her, and then right, and let me see, what was I doing? Because according to the scriptures, you are what your father is. Right, first and foremost, I'm going to go here before I forget it. Numbers chapter 1 and 18, right? Now, it says that you are what your father is. And 1 and 18, 17. And Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names. And they assembled all the congregation, the people, together on the first day of the second month. By the way, the word congregation means a group of people assembled. Okay, yeah. Together on the first day on the second of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families. Pedigrees show relationships between family members and indicates which individuals have certain genetic pathogenic variants, traits, and diseases within a family, as well as vital status. It's basically to check out the breed that you are, the race that you are. Not according to what Esau says, because he's a devil, but according to, because you have to understand, right? Does he have people, their DNA from regions here? No, he doesn't. Okay? He doesn't. Does he have regions of, because people in Australia, does he have all the people, their blood in Australia, the aboriginals? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's lying to you. He's a devil. You know, all this fancy stuff is just to trick you real good. You know what I'm saying? Why are your teeth so big? So that he can bite you with. Why are your eyes so big? Because I can see you better. Ezra 2 and also 6 and 20, right? 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 20. Now it says, O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. We trust in the Bible. We are committed to that, okay? The trust of Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. Avoiding profane outside of the temple and vain babblings. Profane, for example, having porn conversations or just things outside of holiness, right? And and vain babblings, talking about which car is greater and stupid stuff like that. For example, I'm just giving examples. There's many things. And oppositions, which are against one another, resistance and dissent, contrast, conflict, clashes, differences, right here. And oppositions of science, falsely so called. They use this word science as if it's some kind of great thing. Science actually just means knowledge, scientia. It comes from the Roman Latin word scientia and means knowledge. That's all it means. So these devils are tricking you with the difference of science and technology, because they actually associate technology as science, but science just means knowledge. That's literally exactly what it means. Nothing more, nothing less. They're lying to you and selling it to you as technology, which is their science is falsely so called, because according to their science, there's 72 genders or whatever, man. Flying reindeer is also is one of their science things, right? Okay, going back to over here. Yeah, it says, And they declared their pedigrees after their families. How did they do that? How did our ancestors do that, our forefathers? By the house of their fathers. So when you have a stupid thing like this, you don't know what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying? That's why you shouldn't trust on their false science, because this will confuse you. And if you think they're not confused, you need to check out. I'm glad you did this DNA test. It's very true that Black American, it's not just being one thing. We're ethnically, see, here comes the bullshit. Here comes the bullshit. Here comes the boom. Here comes the bullshit. Then you have guys like this, like the legend of the Black Moor. Anyway, you have what's this again? My life has been a lie. It is a lie, especially if you believe their nonsense. But anyway, going on. Now, you got the Israelites with red hair, DNA result, just a lot of crapaloni, right? Let me go back to over where here. No, here, right. By the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. Right. It's the book of Ezra, chapter 2, verse 59. And these were they which went up from Telmela. You can read this also in First Ezra's, somewhere in First Ezra's, maybe chapter 2 or 3. Telmela, Telharza, Chenab, Adon, and Immer. But they could not show their father's house and their seed from the father, whether they were of Israel. So how do you determine what nation you belong to? The bloodline of your father. Because a woman is a result of a bloodline. She doesn't pass through and pass on the bloodline. She doesn't have it. She is the result of it, and then she is the receiver of a bloodline when a man lays with her. So, first, your father owns you. You're the property of your father. And then, therefore, after that, you are the property of your husband. And if you think it's far-fetched, females often refer to themselves indirectly as something to be controlled and ridden. You ride your wife like you ride your horse. And this is what they do themselves. This is a sign of control. Like, I own you. I can make you go left and I can make you go right. They do it themselves. Nobody put a gun to their head. So subconsciously, they do want to be controlled, but they don't know it yet. But anyway, I'm not controlling females. I don't have a female, so don't be saying, oh, you probably beat your wife. I ain't got no wife, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay. Now, according to the Bible, a woman is a result of a bloodline of a seed. She doesn't have seed. Okay. She births seeds. Women give birth. Women give birth, not life. Life is created within the man and the seed within himself. As you can see here in the book of Genesis chapter 1, for example. The plants have seed, it says here, Genesis 1 and 11. And the power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And this goes also for man. Man has seed within himself. Okay? Just like how in the beginning, when you have a apple, in the beginning, apple, stages of seed and development. Let me see. In the beginning, here. So in the beginning, it's not going to really be in there, but later on it starts to form, and then it starts to, get hard and stuff like that. But I want actually a better picture, because in the beginning you will see that it doesn't have any seed in it. Let me see. But it had, yeah. So, shit, it's too small. Right. Okay, I don't know how to. Yeah, I do know how to make it bigger, but let me see something. here. Okay, it's empty, and then later on it starts to form within it, and then later on it starts to get bigger and stuff. This is what a boy has from 0 until like 12 years old. It's actually empty, but it's developing, just like how it's developing here. First it's like an empty chest, nothing there, and then after a while something starts popping up and it starts growing and stuff like that. That means like the boy is becoming of age, and now he is capable of getting a female pregnant, whether it be another 12-year-old girl. Oh, I think this is better than, yeah, this one is good. This one I was actually looking for. I should save this one actually. It's the same. Yeah, this one is good, right? Yeah, check this out. In the beginning it's empty, and then and then something pops up in it, and then it becomes like this. This is basically a nutsack, right? In the beginning it's empty, and then something fills it up. That's the seed, and here you are able to get women pregnant already. So a 12-year-old boy can get another woman, of course, or a young girl also pregnant. That is how the Heavenly Father created it to be. It's capable, it's possible. Okay, so the seed is within itself, right? Women don't have seed within them, they get it. Now it says here in the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 25, 4. He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest. Nowadays these females are a pillar of stress. So if thou hast a wife, seek not to be loose from thy wife. If thou art loose from a wife, seek not to be bound to a wife. So, and that's where you get me. Now it says here, Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Right, but anyway, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua. So we have our boss. And the head of the woman is the man. She has her boss. And the head of Yahushua is the Heavenly Father. He has his boss. Verse 10. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Now if you go to the other translations, it says it like this. Verse 10 here, right? 1 Corinthians 11:10. It is for this reason that a woman ought to have authority over her own head because of the angels. So what does that actually mean? If you go to this one, it's English Standard Version. This is why a wife ought to have a symbol of authority on her head because of the angels. So what does that mean? You can read the other translations also. It actually goes into that here. Let me go here. Now this is the book of 1 Corinthians 11 and 10, of course, right? For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head, because why? Let me read the verse above it so that you can get the understanding. Now verse 9. Okay, let me start here. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 6. No, 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, right, with a veil, like Muslim females do, like this one, for example, when he prayeth, of course. Right. For as much as he is the image and glory of the Heavenly Father, but the woman is the glory of the man. That's why, especially when men are rich, they got all these fancy things for what? Oh, for themselves, but yeah, it attracts females. You lure them in, and then you trap them with a snare, like a trap, right? For the woman is not of the man. Sorry. For the man is not of the woman, so the man doesn't come from the woman, but the woman of the man, because the man has boys and girls in his nutsacks, and then trillions of them, and then you come out of him, right? Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. So a man is not the purpose on earth. The man is not created to serve you or for you. You're created for him, to help him, and to be his. You're mine, and that is the truth, biblically, and also outside of the Caucasus, the Edomite, their philosophies, the flying reindeer people. Outside of their lying philosophies, the man is the owner of the woman. Okay. For this cause, so because of this, ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Now, what does that mean? It goes into this. What is the power? The woman to have power on her head because of the angels. So what does that power mean? Power. It's, sorry, by the way. Which is it? Greek 1849. Greek 1849. Power of choice. And then you scroll down here to 4, right? A sign of the husband's authority over his wife. The veil with propriety. I can never pronounce this word. Propriety. Now it goes into conformity or to conventionality. Accepted standards of behavior or moral. So there should be a right fitting, and then we go to this one over here, which is property. Okay, from the Latin property. A thing or things belonging to someone, and in this case, belonging to the man. That's the point. Right, now go back over here. The veil with which property, right, required a woman to cover herself because of the angels. So, in respect to the angels, you need to show that you are under authority under that man. Right. So, yeah. Now, going back to over here. That's why your father marries you off. And and that's why when you're married to a man, you get his name. As you can see here, it's still in effect, but the Edomites, the Caucasus, they changed everything. But everything is going to be established once more because we are turning now into the ways of our forefathers again, which is how it is supposed to be. We're not supposed to follow another race, their customs, right? Malachi chapter 4, verse 5. I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So before this happens here, the earth is finna get destroyed, the inhabitants of it. Before that happens, we need to get back to our forefathers' ways and customs, right? Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Because nowadays, who's clothing us? That's why you have this section in the stores. I'm not kidding you. They actually sell this. Who does this? A devil. Why would you have sexy toddler clothing? And I often use this, by the way. And I never delete my internet browser history. I never do that. So I always have the things that I clicked on and stuff like that. Anyway, because I often use this as an example. But what more? Women clothing and stuff like that. Sexy women clothing. Summer. Right. They sell you this. They sell you. I just saw something. You don't want your daughter in that. Here. You don't want your daughter walking around like this, man. Come on, man. You serious? You want your child walking around like, you want your wife walking around like this. But who sells these clothing? The so-called Caucasians. Because if you go to the Arab clothing stores and stuff like that, yeah, I want to see what's in their stores. You won't find those type of revealing type clothing. You will find covering type clothing. Why? Because they are under authority under their husband, and they know this. But we're slave descendants, so we don't have authority over our wives. That's why they free beasts walking around upon the planet Earth, all uncovered and stuff like that. And not all of the Arab women are covered, of course. Some just, they don't believe in stuff like that. But anyway, we're not talking about them. This is biblical. So this is about the Bible, and it is about our nation. We will wear our own apparel, because now if we want food, we need to go to them. If we want clothing, we need to go to them. If we want housing, we need to go to them. If we want anything, water, anything, we need to go to them. We are not self-sufficient, right? Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach, because your husband is a covert, is a, let me see, where is it again? Isaiah 32:2. And a man, an Israelite man, shall be a hiding place from the wind. He's going to be your protector. And a covert from the tempest. He's going to be something that you hide from, under, or with, whatever. Covert. Covert means, where's the dictionary thing? Which is here, I think, if I'm correct. Yeah, where is it again? Here, covert. Covert. Then I jumped to 3. Law, being married and therefore protected by one's husband. That's a covert, right? Covert. So it says here, and a covert from the tempest, which is a tornado. When it's windy out there, your husband is basically going to be your protection. And this is not talking about actual physical wind. This is, you can use that, but it's not talking about that. It's talking about the turmoil that's going to come upon the planet Earth in the time when these Edomites are going to turn on you. You know what I'm saying? All the things, all the freedom and protection that they give you is going to fly away. It's going to go in the wind. As the rivers of water in a dry place, in a desert, the man is going to be like a river of water, the Ishmaelite man with the spiritual power. As a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So he's going to be like a great rock in a desert land. So when you see a great rock and you see the shadow of it, you run to it, man. Well, right. So Numbers chapter 27, verse 1. Then came the daughters of Selophiad. Those names. The son of Hefer, or Heper, the son of Gilead, the son of Michal, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. Right, the sons. So this man, his daughters. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad. And these are the names of his daughters: Melah, Noah, and Hoglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. Hoglah. Funny name. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest and before the princes and all the congregation by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in the company of them that gathered themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin, and had no sons, only daughters, which were, five daughters. Why should the name of our father be done away with? Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family? Why? Right, because he had no sons. So this shows you that actually, if you have no sons, your bloodline stops right there. Well, not bloodline, but that family name of you as individually stops right there. That's why back in the days, the kings wanted a son, because if the woman was only giving him daughters, he would hate her, because that's the heir of his throne, which is what it's supposed to be. Because the female, let's say a millionaire, has only daughters. You love your daughters. You're going to give your daughters money, of course. when it's time to leave the house and stuff like that, or when it's time for you to leave the earth. You're gonna leave your children with money, but you don't want your inheritance to be in their hands, because they're gonna have sex with another family. Might be a poor family, might be another rich family, doesn't matter. That family will then therefore now be able to take over your stuff. That's not how you want it. You want your son to carry on your things, as it is written here in the book of Genesis chapter 25, verse 1. Then again Abram took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Madan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. And Joshbak begat, okay, this is talking about their sons, and this is talking about their sons. Okay, verse 5. All these are the children of Keturah. And Abram gave all that he had to Isaac. But unto the sons of the concubine which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from his son, from Isaac his son, while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. So the point of me reading this is to show you that you give the one that you, well, in this case is him, but according to the scriptures, you're supposed to give your sons, it's stuff. They're what they deserve, especially the firstborn, but Isaac was the secondborn. But this was of the Lord, but I'm still going to give the example. You give them their inheritance and stuff like that. And if these were girls, which there are not, but if these were girls, they would still get their gifts and stuff like that. But you don't give the ultimate inheritance to the other one. You give it to the firstborn son, actually, right? But in this case, it was the secondborn son, Isaac, because the Lord had his reasons, right? So I think I'm done with that. I hope I explained that good. But anyway, so going back to over here, he had no sons. But like I said, you give your daughters something. Of course, you love your daughters, right? But you don't give them the company. Let's say you have a business. You don't give your business to your daughter because she's going to have a husband, and then he's going to be able to take over your business. And then the sorry, and then the business that had been in your family for maybe like 5 generations and stuff like that, all of a sudden now is in the hand of a different family, and then they run the show. No. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family? Because he had no son. Give unto us therefore a possession among the brethren of our father. So if your father has brothers, then you need to get that right. And Moses brought their cause before the Lord, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, the daughters of Zelophehad speak right. Thou shalt surely give them a possession for an inheritance among their father's brethren, so their uncles. And thou shalt cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a man die and have no son, then ye shall cause his inheritance to pass unto his daughter. And if he hath no daughter, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if he had no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his father's brethren, so his uncles then. And if his father had no brethren, because sometimes you have a great-grandfather, for example, he has one son, and that son has only one son, and that son has only one son. And that son might have all of a sudden 3 or 4 more children or something like that, but still, it's possible. So now you need to go back to that great-grandfather, his brothers, and then that bloodline should then therefore then be fixed with the inheritance and stuff like that, right? If he had no brethren, okay, and if his father have no brethren, then ye shall give his inheritance unto his kinsmen, which are the family members that are from that great-great-great-grandfather that I just gave the example of. If he has children, this is the great-grandfather, and then he has only one son, which is the grandfather, and then he has only one son, which is the grandfather. What was it? Wait, great-grandfather, grandfather, and then father. And then here comes the son, and then he has no children, for example, and then you need to go back to the great grandfather, and then he must have had brothers. One of them must have had brothers, and then you give it unto their children, right? So now it says here that is next to him of his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Right. So this is the short version, you can say. And then you have a little bit longer version, which is here in the book of Numbers chapter 36, which is verse 1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the sons of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses, and before the princes, and the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, Yahweh the Lord commanded my Lord to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. That's in the time of when they was handing out land. And my Lord was commanded by the Lord to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of another tribe, for example, like I just gave the example, if you are a rich man and you have your inheritance from your great grandfather 5 generations before you, and then the 4th generation we still had it, the 3rd, the 2nd, and then now here you have it still, right? And then you have only a daughter or daughters, and then some other family comes and lays with your daughter, they are able to actually take away your inheritance that you have from your daughter by marrying into them, and now he gets to possess what you have been building up for the last 5 generations. For example, he might take your, let's say you have a store, and then you only have daughters, and then you give your daughter the store when you leave this earth, along with your the mother, and then they're alone now, and now they get a husband, and now the husband is going to run the show, and before you know it, he's going to, because the children that come out of your husband are his bloodline, his family. That's not your family anymore. If you are still alive, or even if you're dead, those are your grandchildren, yes, but that's not your bloodline. That's his bloodline, from his family, from his fathers, and his father, and his father, and his father, that came into your family, right? If he lays with your daughter, right? So it says here, for example, reading on, and if they be married to any of the sons of the other tribes of Israel, of the children of Israel, then shall their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our father, and shall be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. That is true, because if you only have daughters, then somebody else will come up in your family and take your stuff, which is not what you want. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall the inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. And in this case, for example, another family, if you are rich, or even if you're not rich, the point is that somebody else is going to come into your family if you only have daughters, and now they're going to possess your stuff. Let's say you have a sword or a coin collection, and then you pass on, but you pass it, before you pass, you give your daughter, right? Or your daughters, whatever you give them. They're all going to have a husband, and they're going to have his children, and then therefore your collection coin that has been in your families for maybe 5 generations, whatever, 15, 20, I don't know, okay? So just an example. They're going to have it. They're going to own it, right? So going on, now it says, so shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph had said well. This is the thing which Yahweh doth command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So in this case, you had 12 tribes, right? Okay. They are from the tribe of Joseph, which is Ephraim. Sorry, Manasseh. No, the son of Manasseh of the families of the son. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's still Joseph, yeah. But they are from the tribe of Manasseh, not Ephraim, sorry. Ephraim is the other son of Joseph, but this one was the tribe of Manasseh. So, what are the daughters of Zelophehad allowed to do? Now they are allowed to marry anyone they will, but because normally the father marries them off, right? But in this case, um, they are now allowed to pick a man, but they can only pick a man of the tribe of Manasseh, so that when the inheritance gets to be given, it is given away, it will still belong to the tribe of Manasseh. And that is where it belongs. Because it is the sons of Manasseh that had only 5 daughters. So it is only right because Zelophehad is the son of Manasseh. And then therefore, every blessing that Manasseh got belongs to Zelophehad. So, once the time comes and Zelophehad has only daughters, then it is only right that another brother of the sons of Manasseh, of their family, shall get the inheritance. That is how it is supposed to be. And don't think that we're trying to do it now. I'm just reading what the history says. I'm not trying to do it now. I don't know 100% which tribe or what tribe that woman would be from, but I have no idea. I would think, okay, you might be from there. I could be right and I could be wrong. Now, who can do that? A high priest, actually. In the book of First Ezra chapter 8, if I'm correct, the high priest would be able to do that. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe it's verse, chapter 7 or something like that. Let me see. Hi. Okay, let me try and find a different way. Right, I found it. Now it's here in the book of, what is it again? First Ezra chapter 5, verse 40. Let me see. I'll start here. You can read the rest for yourself if you have the time. Verse 39. And when the description of the kindred of these men was sought in the register, by the way, this is the book of Ezra chapter 2. It's the same thing. It's the same, to a certain degree. Yeah, it's the same. Right. And was not found. They were removed from executing the office of the priesthood. Because if you're not sure that you are a Levite, then if you go near to the tabernacle, you will die. You can't touch the Ark of the Covenant because you're another tribe. So they were removed because they could not, they could not show themselves to be Levites. For unto them said Nehemiah and Athaliah that they should not be partakers of the holy things. Right, you can't touch the holy things if you are not sure if you are the tribe Levite. Till there arose up an high priest, clothed with doctrine and truth. So he will be able to see if you are a Levite or not. He will be able to see. Just like how Yahushua could see and see that John was Elijah. He could see that. He could just look at you and be like, oh, it's Elijah there. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Elijah? But John didn't know. He was like, what? What are you talking about, Willis? John chapter 11, if I'm correct. Matthew, sorry. Matthew 11 and 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent took it by force, which were the Romans, and the Greeks too, but yeah, which are the same people, the Edomites. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. And if ye will receive it, this is Elijah, which was forth to come. And where did it said that Elijah would come? Malachi chapter 4, verse 6. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Now you might think like, hey, that's not Elijah, because it is not written like that. Elijah, you don't write Elijah like that. Well, Elias is Elijah. As you can see here. Allah Yahweh, which is Elijah. What does Elias mean? Here is the name, a variant spelling of the name Elijah. Right, so it's Elijah. Numbers 36 and 7. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. So when Zelophehad didn't have any sons and only daughters, his inheritance still goes to Manasseh, because the daughters are only then therefore allowed to marry Manasseh. But if Zelophehad had one son, right, then the daughters were able to marry any tribe, because the heritage would not go to them. It would go to Zelophehad, his son. Sorry. So verse 8. And every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her father. So, and how does she possess an inheritance? When the father doesn't have a son, right? That the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his father. Let's say Manasseh, right? He got, he got a land of, just an example. Let me see. He just got a land of, let me world map. Just to say, I'm just giving an example, right? Let's just say Manasseh got Brazil, for example, and all the other tribes got everything else. It's just equally divided. Just giving an example, just for example's sake. Let me make it bigger, right? Just for example's sake. Oh, I didn't. Okay, leave it. Anyway, so this is the Manasseh, and then therefore, if the man had no sons, and then still this region would then therefore still be in the possession of Manasseh. Let's say 700 years later, it would still be in the possession of Manasseh, because let's say if Ephraim is here, or Issachar is here, for example, then he would take a daughter from here, from Manasseh, from his own people, by the way, and then bring her here, and then make children, and then her inheritance cannot be taken away, because did I give the example right? Wait. I hope you get it, man. I'm really trying to give extra details or whatever. But yeah, this belongs to Manasseh. This belongs to, let me keep it closer. This belongs to Issachar, whatever, right? So that Issachar doesn't steal from Manasseh when he marries into Manasseh's daughters, right? Yeah, I think that is it. Going on. So basically, you're going to enjoy the things of your forefathers that was given unto your forefathers. And then Issachar is going to enjoy the things that was given unto his forefathers. Whether it be land, whether it be a business, whether it be anything, house, anything, just anything, right? A collection coin, whatever. Or a coin collection, actually. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another, right? So if the inheritance has been given to the Manasseh, for example, the other tribes are not allowed to come in this land and start taking parts of this land because they married unto the daughters of Manasseh, of a man that has no sons. And all of a sudden, he will be able to slowly but surely, let's say this part was only given to him, and then slowly but surely, he will be able to take little snippets, little bites off of the land, and then therefore his land will become greater and bigger because he's now taking the sonless fathers their inheritance through the daughter. Yeah, and that's not allowed. So, but every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. Like I said, if your forefather Manasseh got this land, then that is what you deserve, and that's what you're supposed to keep and have. And don't be greedy because Issachar, his land looks prettier, or it's bigger, or it's this or that, or whatever. The grass is greener on the other side. Don't be greedy, for example, right? Same thing with families. Don't marry into a family because they're rich, because you're greedy. You just want to have his inheritance. You're a demon for that, you know? Right, going on. Even as the Lord commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Milah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons. Right. And by the way, that is allowed. That's in the book of Leviticus chapter 18, if I'm correct. Let me see. Or was it Leviticus 18? Yeah, here it is. Ye shall keep these statutes. You cannot sleep with your sister, stuff like that, and all that there. This, all explained here. You cannot sleep with men with men. You cannot sleep with a beast, and stuff like that. And your sister. And they were, but you are allowed to marry your cousin. And so going on. Now it says here, and they were married. Yeah, nowadays it looks weird because the devil taught us. This is what I'm saying. Well, not me. This is what I just read, that we're supposed to go back to the traditions of our forefathers. And I'm not telling you now in 2023 on 27th June, I'm not telling you now to go and sleep with your cousin and make babies and stuff like that. You know, I actually do know a story about my uncle and his wife, because the female, she was so in love with him that when she heard his last name, she didn't tell him that she has the same last name but of her mother. She didn't tell him. And of course, after a while, they got children. And then my uncle brought one. Of course, he wants to show off his children, like, look at what I got. And he went to one of his family members and stuff like that. And then one of the family members, she knew, like, hey, wait a minute. So what's your name? And I what? Sorry, who's your mother? And then they found out that she was lying to him all the time. That by not telling him who her mother is. So I have no idea. How she kept it from him. But the power of a pee-pee, right? What the power of can do to a woman's for JJ, right? And they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father, which is Manasseh, and that is where it belongs. That inheritance. These are the commandments and judgments which Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan and near Jericho. Right. So this is how it used to be handled, and it was supposed to still be handled until this day. If you have no sons, But nowadays, like I said, you have no idea which 100%, 100%, 100%, which tribe you're actually really 100% from. We have an idea. We have an idea. But anyway, we go according to region and according to spirit, because this is a spiritual thing. That's why the Lord said, don't worry too much with genealogy, because you're going to get tired. Mm. Mm. Vein. Right. Endless genealogy. Okay, so it's Titus chapter 3, verse 9. But avoid foolish questions and genealogies. Oh, didn't spell it right. Oh. And contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. So it is good to at least know that you're Israelite. So that's 100% not vain, and it's 100% not unprofitable. It is 100% profitable, and it's 100% the opposite of vain. What's the opposite of vain again? Vain and what's the opposite of vain? Modest, successful. Oh yeah, productive. Right, productive. Yeah, because vain is unsuccessful. It's just vain, futile, useless. Yeah, so useful. Yeah, instead of vain, useful. Right. It's 100% useful to know that at least you're an Israelite. Descendants of the slave, descendants of slaves, or descendant of natives, which were Native Americans, which is, they were slaves too, but you don't really know about that. But yes, they were. There was the slaves of the conquistadors in the beginning, and then they shipped a few of them to Spain, as you can see here in the movie. Yeah, you might think, oh, movie, but it's kind of based on historical facts, which is, let me see. Was it season 1 or something? In chains. Wait. Right, I found it. Now, what you gotta type in is the Borgias episode 4. I typed in episode 3. Lucretia's wedding. And then you can see here the picture of the Native American slave. He was sold unto them for a fucking birthday present or something like that. But hey, don't worry, man. We gonna get these devils back, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun because we're gonna sell their daughters and their sons. And I'm gonna keep for research. I'm gonna keep them daughters. What's it again? Joel chapter 3. Just like how they sold us, as thou hast done unto my chosen, so shall it be done unto thee. Joel chapter 3 verse. You can read the rest for yourself, but then if you have the time, but I'll go to the point. And I, the Heavenly Father, will sell your sons. You know what? I'm gonna read here. Joel chapter 3 and 3. And they have cast lots for my people. $5, $5, $10, $10, $10, $1,200, $1,200 sold to the devil in to the so-called gentleman in red. Auction block. They sold us. They cast lots for us, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea. If you watch the movie, they sold a girl for a harlot, a boy for a harlot, and they also sold boys as harlots. If you watch the documentary / movie, Goodbye Uncle Tom, you will see some shit. I'll tell you that. I'll just say that. You'll see some shit over there. They had brothels with little boys dressing up as girls. That's what they had. If you think it's far-fetched, well, then check out Jeffrey Epstein's his lifestyle. If you think that's not real. If that was a so-called black man, they would talk about it until this day. But the majority of the planet, you see, The devil says, the scripture says that the devil, these Edomites, they are not in trouble as other men. That's in the book of Psalm 73. They're not in trouble as other men. But it's good. It's good. Once that trouble really comes down upon them, they're going to want to flee from the skin that they have, or actually the nation that they have, because you have a few so-called black Edomites too. Here, Thomas Jefferson. Here, this guy. He's actually this guy's great grandson. This guy, Thomas Jefferson's black descendant, have a message. You're not black, my man. You're a fucking Edomite. You're an Edomite. You're a goddamn Edomite. You're a tear baby. You're a tear baby. And you don't belong in existence, because the Lord is going to show you how he feels about you. In the book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 36. Then Yahushua. Huh? What? Matthew 13? Okay, 36, right? No, wait a minute. Oh yeah. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parables of the tares in the field, of the field. He was talking about it here. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered together and burned in the fire. And if you want to really get the story, it's because when the blade sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the household came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence had it tares? And he said, An enemy had done this. So what is the parable of the tares and the wheat? Tares and wheat. If you look at the tare, which one? I don't know which one is one. I think this is the tares. And this is the weed. Yeah, this is the weed. This is the one that's good for eating. This, it's not good for eating for man. It's not. These are the children of another race that have a black female, and they rape them, or they willingly had sex with them, and then they get children. Those are the tare babies. These are the weeds, meaning these are weeds. These belong to us, believe it or not. These are our children also. These are our children. These. And let me see. No, that's fucked up. This. I was looking for this picture actually. He has a lot of kids, this guy. But anyway, these are all our children. Believe it or not. All of them belong to us. Right. And yeah, him including. Right. But if it's the other way around, like this, oh shit, I was just looking for this. If it's this, yeah. Keep on smiling, baby. Keep on smiling. Yeah, that's what's up. So it says, As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. Because what they wanted to do is, they wanted to go around, these Israelites, they wanted to go around and kill the tares. But then the Lord said, no, don't do it. Because it says here, because he said unto them, an enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? And he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Right? Because we wouldn't 100% know who is who. If I was to see him on the street, I would know he has some kind of whiteness in him. And I'd just look at him and be like, okay, this guy, he look weird. But it might be that his where's the picture? His father is a Jake. It might be, when I look at him, for example, I know something, something Caucasian is in there. So there's some Edomite is in there, but I wouldn't be 100% sure. I need to see the parents first, or the spirit. This is how they act. But sometimes, let's say, this man, no, sorry, this man, he grows up into a man, and then he gets himself a white girl. Okay, and then they get children. Okay, those children are gonna look more Caucasian, and and it needs to be a son. And if his son that he made with another Caucasian female, if his son goes and get himself another Caucasian female, oh shit! Now his great grandchildren will look Caucasian. They will look. They might look like this. You know, might look like that. You'd be like, what the hell? Look at her. She doesn't even look like this guy, but he's mixed up too. You see what I'm saying? But if his father is a dark-skinned man like this, then it's good. But if his father is a Caucasian man like this, a Edomite, then all these kids are. So something is going to happen to you. The Lord is going to do it. As therefore the tares are gathered, right. As I was giving an example, the reason why we shouldn't be touching them, to do them harm or whatever, is because you don't know. You don't know what the hell you're talking to. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? For example, okay, these are tear babies, right? Okay, cool cat. Now, if this girl grows up and gets herself a dark-skinned man, or even him, those children will become Ishmaelites again because of him and his father, which is he is the result of him, his seed, and then therefore he is his forefather, of course, the father, but then he is his clone. He is his duplication. He duplicated him in this female over here, but he is still the seed of an Ishmaelite. And if he makes children with this tear baby, then those children of him and her, those children that come out will 100% be Israelites because they come from this man over here. Because it is his bloodline that went here and then went into this one and then came out and then popped up here. But it is still this man, his seed, because he is the forefather. Then it sounds confusing, but it isn't, because the Lord is very simple. Not simple as in stupid. Everything is very plain compared to this garbage over here, right? But you can, if you understand what I just explained, then you can imagine how all this nonsense could be because of the so-called intermingled race and interracial mixing. Yeah, you can understand that, right? But you still are what your father is. As you can see here, she doesn't look 100%. Look, this is an Israelite. You might think it's weird, but that's how the Lord set it up. It's the same people, I think, if I'm correct. Yeah, it's the same people. Yeah, it's the same girl. Right, that's an Israelite. Right? And if it was a boy, it's still an Israelite because it comes from him. That's the point. So you can call yourself mixed breed, whatever. You are to a certain degree, but you are of the family of your. So you are of the race of your father, right? Well, I hope I explained that correct. And don't be falling for stupid tricks like this. If you understand it, how I just explained it, then you can actually make this up too, talking about, oh yeah, you could have these DNAs in you, but you're not of that race. You are of the race of your father. That's the point. You can have Chinese within you. You can have all these type of things within you, right? But it doesn't matter for that. What matters is who is your father and his forefather and his forefather and his forefather and so forth. And if you really can't figure it out, then just go off of the spirit, because the Lord already told us, listen, don't be going too much in that genealogy thing, because it's gonna make you crazy. This vein, It is unprofitable. It's trying to figure out where the hell you come from. No, no, no. Through the Spirit, we believe that we are the children of Israel according to the curses mentioned in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and also in the book of Leviticus, if I'm correct. Leviticus 26, if I'm correct. Let me see. Leviticus 26. Yeah. 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 Leviticus 26, right. According to this, right, according to this chapter, and according to the chapter of 28 in Deuteronomy, off of that we know what we are, and through the Spirit, of course, right. So I think that is it. I think I've covered all the tabs, talked about them all. This one, yeah, did that. I did this. DNA result. Yeah, I saw her DNA result is a lot of European, but they don't tell you that there were Moors, like so-called black people in Europe. So they're tricking you. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm glad you did the DNA test. Okay, I already read that. Yeah, that's because they don't believe in in Esau's bullshit. That's why. That's why they don't want to give up the oral tradition, right? Because they don't believe in your fake ass science, right? I think I'm done. If I'm correct, here, finish this one. This. Right. Right. But as I said, as I read, don't trip too much with genealogy, right? Because it's kind of unprofitable. Fighting about it, and I'm from this, I'm from that. I have this much percentage Chinese in me. Are you a Chinese nigga? Do you get treated like a Chinese nigga? Shut up then. Okay? So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.